Hello, everyone. This is Todd with Copyflight, coming here with another About Page Teardown. This one is for Res.com. Our friend Jason Resnick, who is a successful entrepreneur, WordPress developer, podcaster. We affectionately refer to him as Rez, R-E-Z-Z-Z. Now, earlier this year, I kind of got to know Rez a little bit as we were both in the course SEO for the Rest of Us by Brennan Hufford, which we both highly recommend you taking. Got to interact with him there in a private community and enjoyed his contributions to everything that's going on, and just happy to have met him. Anyway, I kind of knew him from a distance, but anyway, today I'm going to take a look at his About page. And remember, there are 6 questions that I ask when I do an About page teardown. Come mostly from the About page framework that I have. The first one is, what does your headline say? Is there a value proposition you're using? The second one is, do you pinpoint my pain? Number 3, can I see a future better self? Number 4, is your company credible? Are there credibility enhancers, social proof, etc.? 5, do you have a story to tell? And 6, do you call me to action? Now, one thing I can say about vast majority of About pages, they actually typically have some sort of a bio, and Jason has that on his page. We'll get to that in just a moment. But his headline right here is, looking to grow your business? Good, you're in the right place. I actually kind of like that headline. I'm not sure it's necessarily a complete value proposition, but it definitely tells, it insinuates that you are going to help them with growing the business. The problem I have is that you immediately launch into a story, your story, which is fine. Again, you need to have a story, I believe, and you tell kind of a personal story, and I think that's needed. But and you do kind of touch on the pain. I mean, you talk about the kind of thing of growing a business as a freelancer, that kind of thing. But what I'd like to see is a section, even if it's just a couple paragraphs, where you kind of dive into the pain of struggling in your freelance business, which is what you do with your consulting and your podcasting, and the kind of things you try to solve for customers. And then what I call the imagination, vision. How can the customer see a better self? So even if it's just imagine what it would be like if you had an automated lead generation system. Imagine what it'd be like if you didn't struggle to find projects. You were always had a project to work on, and that you're not living in feast and famine mode. You're living in the feast, which is the name of your podcast. That kind of thing would be really good to set up this section, in my opinion. Like I said, it could be just a couple paragraphs. I like the story thing. What I would really like to see focus more on is the aspect of how, actually I read it on another article of yours about how things were, you were doing all this work for other people and helping them be successful, but your own business was suffering. You took a step back and you saw that you could do for yourself what you were doing for other companies. That story, to me, would be ideal here. So I think, and it tells a story arc. You start, you have a starting, a beginning, you have an adversity, which of course is your business was struggling as well. And then on the backside, how you solve that problem, and then launch into how you're going to solve that for freelancers. I think that would be an ideal segment to put right here. And this information probably could be further down on the About page. I like the little, this is me. I live in New York. My wife is Joanna. I have 2 sons. Those little things kind of tell us a little bit more about you, and that's great. Then you delve into kind of what you do what you have done, the co-hosting of a WordPress development podcast, a speaker, sponsor, those kind of things. So that it kind of adds to your credibility. These are credibility enhancers, and this is definitely a good thing to have. You have that information to the left in the sidebar, which we'll get to, but I don't think it's really a bad thing to have here. You do talk about being a business coach and how you do those kind of things. So this is all really good. I would just like to see you preface it with discussing the pain point, what it looks like for a customer who is successful using your service, and then a little bit of a story arc about how in the beginning you were doing this thing and you got to where you were struggling and you stepped back and did for yourself what you did for others, and how now you teach others to do the same thing. So I think that would be an ideal thing to put toward the beginning of this, as opposed to all of this. So that's my opinion on that. You do have credibility enhancers, a little bit of social proof. You have it on the side, how I roll, which is kind of an ode to the old sidebar roll call thing we used to do back in the day, I guess. The fact that you host 2 podcasts, I think that's good. Then I like the little feature section. You got done a nice job putting the podcast logos there, and they're all linked. So that is excellent, actually. So I think those are good things to have. I'd like to see them be highlighted. At the bottom, you have kind of a call to action section. I'll get to that in just a minute. So you do talk about the story a lot. I've talked about what I would like to see better is a little bit more about how your story intersects with the people you're helping, because that's, to me, is where the magic happens. So the last thing I would ask is, do you have a call to action? So you have this block at the bottom with multiple call to actions. You have the feast, roadmap, and community, and then where to next in the left block here. So it's a lot to digest for someone, but not necessarily a bad thing. They have multiple options. I would like to have call to action for 2 things: 1 for your email newsletter, and 2 for your signature course or your signature service. And the thing that made a big difference to me when I was looking through here, let's see, which one was these that I went and checked out? One of the, get the best clients. That one right there resonated with me. I think a lot of people who are freelancers struggle with getting the best clients. And now there's a whole lot of other things that go along with that. I would think, because that is actually signed up for email because of it. Get the best clients, or getting your best clients. It's a free email course. I think that would be something to highlight. I think that'd be a good call to action that could stand out a little bit higher up. So I would consider maybe making that a little bit more prominent. It does get people in your email list, so that would be a handy thing to do. Your best course, which I am assuming is this particular this one right here, the feast course. That's something you might also stand out. So there's a couple things I think that you ought to set apart as prominent call to actions: the feast community, the build recurring revenue in your freelance business. Get people. It's actually fairly inexpensive price point, and then the the best clients email course, because those 2 things will get people in your email list. But you might also consider highlighting whatever you think your signature service is. Those are a couple of things that I like to see people do. But all in all, I mean, for the very bottom of the about page, I think this is an excellent block, giving people multiple options to choose. But I would highlight a couple of things as well. So I think you have a very good about page. I would just like to see you add the pain a little bit more, what a future better self looks like working with Jason Resnick, and then kind of just streamline your story to include how things were when you started, how you were struggling, and you stepped back and did the things for yourself that you did for others, and how that is what you do now. I think that is the story to tell on this page. So anyway, Jason, I think that's what you should do. Those are my tips for you. Obviously, you're pretty successful, so hopefully this is something that will only add to that success. Again, as with the other about page teardowns, I'll include the article to the about page blog post that I have written at CopyFlight, which allows you to download a copy of the about page framework for free if you're interested in doing that. We'll drop the questions that I ask in the description as well. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be back with another about page teardown pretty soon. Thanks.